What's good, y'all? So in this video, I'm going to react to the finest 15 dark cartoon theories that will ruin your childhood. Damn. Okay. I don't want my childhood ruined, but I'm here. I'm interested in the conspiracy theories. I really liked the videos like this. I did one about why Squidward can't quit his job a couple days ago. It's just like interesting. I remember watching one in the past about Mrs. Puff and her like criminal past. And yeah, it's just very interesting to like try to put some dots together. And sometimes this is like the stuff that the writers will put in here. And so like kids don't understand it, but then when you get older, you're like, wait, hold on. There's something else going on. So I'm an adult now. So it's time for me to see what else is going on. Let's get into it.
People have been uncovering disturbing hidden meanings and messages in children's cartoons.
Ed, Edd n Eddy was nice.
And some of them are so plausible, they can actually blow your mind.
Mama Fur, are you all right?
I didn't like the
From a
first.
hidden angel of death in a Disney movie to a popular cartoon show that turned out to happen in purgatory, here are 15 dark cartoon theories that will ruin your childhood.
Okay, so these are real dark. We're talking about purgatory, bitch. Okay.
Number 15. Squidward's Theory. If you're familiar with creepypastas, you're probably also familiar with the Squidward meme of him taking his own life. The terrifying meme started in the dark corners of the internet like 4chan and Reddit, where people would modify still images of the show SpongeBob SquarePants and add a little horror and creepiness to it, hence the name creepypasta. That's where the meme of Squidward taking his own life began. In the meme, you could see the fictional character with a black background and shiny red eyes. It was quite horrifying actually, but it stayed amongst the horror fanbase of the internet for years, till now. The show's animators decided to incorporate the meme in one of their episodes, which is very strange since the main demographic of the spectators are still children and the subject is a little dark to say the least. The episode in question shows SpongeBob and Squidward as they explore a town that
Oh, this
mysteriously
must have been in one of them seasons that I ain't watched. I stopped watching that season 5 because it started getting stupid to me. They just was, you feel me? I feel like I grew up on like prime SpongeBob SquarePants, and it got ridiculous.
doesn't adhere to the rules of logic. Then, suddenly, a row of doors appears, and Squidward proceeds to open one of them to see what's on the other side, only to find alternate versions of himself. At this point, the episode is already quite nightmarish, but it gets worse. One of the doors clearly shows him after taking his own life, and it's terrifying.
Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe
Y'all go
button
like
and
this
click the
video.
notification
I'm gonna put the link in the description so y'all can like you know, go show him some love.
bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
Number 14. Toy Story 3 is about the Holocaust.
What the hell?
As crazy as dark cartoon theories go, this might be the darkest. Some people believe that Toy Story 3 is about the Holocaust. You know, when Adolf Hitler killed 6 million people. How can a film is almost identical to one in The Pianist, an award-winning Holocaust drama made by Roman Polanski. All the toys then decide to seek refuge in the attic, which is clearly a reference to Anne Frank, who was a Jewish little girl that had to hide in an attic from the Nazi soldiers. The toys are then all crammed into a box and taken away to a daycare center, which is a clear reference to the trains that took people to the concentration camps. You could argue that a daycare center's not a concentration camp, but in the movie, it isn't a happy place for the toys. The children constantly abandon them until they are too damaged. They then get sent down the waste chute, which might also be considered as a gas chamber. The similarities are too many to be a coincidence. Number 13. Mr. Krabs rescued Pearl from the Hunters.
What happened?
There are a lot of different theories about Mr. Krabs and his
Actually, I
daughter.
feel like I've heard this. Like the mofos with the fishing people. I think this is about. I don't know.
Pearl, because as we all know, it would be impossible for a crab to have a whale as a daughter. The theory that
that's
seems
it.
to be the most accepted by the fans is the one that says he accidentally rescued Pearl when she was a baby because some hunters or fishermen killed her mother.
No, baby, no more crying. We'll get you a date.
So, seeing the little Pearl all alone and scared, Mr. Krabs just took her with him and raised her as his own. This theory
No, I was in the other video. I was talking really bad about Mr. Krabs because I was like, bro, he's a terrible person. He sold his goat or his employee for a penny to a ghost, and you know he'll do anything for some money. But if you rescued a whale and raised it as your own, I guess you're not so bad, Mr. Krabs.
Theory really fits because, for example, Mr. Krabs has shown extreme fear of hooks and has repeatedly warned Patrick and SpongeBob of the grave danger of being near them. Also, Mr. Krabs loves money and he hardly ever spends it or gives it to anyone. But if Pearl asks him for money, he gladly gives it to her. Maybe he feels bad because he couldn't save her mother. There are many other theories about this subject, but this is the one that seems to fit the best. Keep it in mind the next time you watch the show. Number 12. The Smurfs are anti-Semitic and racist.
What?
Antoine Bueno is a professor at the Paris-based university Sciences Po, and he recently published a book where he analyzes
They're
the Smurf
blue.
society and political situation. Let me explain. He thinks the Smurfs children's TV show is anti-Semitic. He starts by stating that Smurfs live in a political dictatorship. They are discouraged from taking any kind of initiative, and they all eat together in the same communal room. There's only one leader, and they rarely leave their home country.
Mama Smurf, are you all right?
I'm fine.
It's starting to sound like communist Russia, and there's more. Papa wears he starts by stating that Smurfs live in a political dictatorship. And then we have the number one enemy of the state, Gargamel, which Bueno says is an anti-Semitic caricature of a Jew. In other words, your favorite kids show is a totalitarian utopia. There's even one episode
Not my favorite kid show. I never liked the Smurfs. I don't know if it was because they was blue and it was offsetting because they had beards and stuff. I don't know. Like, when I was a kid, stuff like that really got me. Like, if it didn't look right, I was like, nah, no thanks. I just was not going for it. So, I don't want my favorite.
episode where the Smurfs are bitten by a fly and their skin turns black and they lose the ability to speak. And that clearly has colonial overtones and also profound and clear racist traits. The craziest part about this theory is that it fits perfectly. It was right in front of our eyes all this time
They
and
got
we
bit by
didn't
a
even
fly.
notice. Number 11. Snow
Talking about you didn't even notice. I didn't watch it.
is about cocaine and addiction. The theory that the Disney movie Snow White is about cocaine addiction has been around for a long time, but it's easy to understand why. There are so many different coincidences that it might just be true. First of all, the name of the main
I know people that was on that Coca-Cola understand that. I know how they act. I know things get real crazy. Once them eyes get a little too wide and they don't blink as much, oh yeah. When they not sleeping, oh yeah. Yeah, I'm like, oh, you done did that shit. Okay.
that looks exactly like snow.
Unfortunately.
Then there are the names of the 7 dwarves, which are named after their personalities. And believe it or not, they match exactly the different stages of cocaine addiction and withdrawal. The first 2 are happy and grumpy, and those make a reference to the mood swings that are caused by using cocaine.
And the mood swings happen fast. You don't know what's coming. Like I said, I've always been the sober friend. And so I've seen it all, to be honest. Every freaking on the map. I've seen the usage at least, or the OD or something, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Damn, I need therapy. I'm in therapy, and I might need more.
Mood swings several times a day. And then we have dopey, sleepy, and sneezy, which are nods to actual stages of being on the drug. Dopey literally means high. You sneeze a lot when you take cocaine because it's a powder and you take it through your nose. And then you finally feel incredibly sleepy after having spent all your energy running about. And finally, we have Snow White's big sleep, which could be an overdose. Or is that going too far? Number 10.
No, I
Winnie
think
the
it's
Pooh
not
and
good.
friends have serious psychological disorders.
It makes sense.
It has
honestly.
long been speculated that every character in Milne's Winnie the Pooh series represents a psychological disorder, and recently the Canadian Medical Association Journal published an article where you can find every diagnosis. Pooh is believed to be suffering from, of course, binge eating disorder. That means he has very low self-esteem that he tries to balance by eating non-stop. In real life, it's a very serious disorder that lots of people suffer from.
Oh, that happens to be my personal favorite.
Piglet was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, which means that everything would stress him out to a level
I
of
have
huge
anxiety.
discomfort. Eeyore, on the other hand, was thought to have a dysthymic depressive heartbreak. Good, because there are some more diagnoses. Tigger's disorder seems quite obvious. He had ADHD because he was so hyperactive and impulsive. And finally, Rabbit was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. This can be extremely dangerous in real life. It makes for very toxic people that enjoy making others suffer. Which one did you feel you identified with as a child? So
Well, anxiety. I was a basket case, bro. And it didn't get worse as I got older because I got more confident, but it was just like, then I just thought I was dying because I was like, bro, what is wrong with me? Because I had like anxiety to the point of like physical side effects. Like my hands would get cold and my body would I would just get cold out of nowhere. And so, and then like it would be like weird feelings in my body or extreme tiredness and stuff. So I literally thought it was over. I was like, all right. You know, it might just be my time. It's just time to go. The whole time I had anxiety. I'm diagnosed.
Each other's behaviors. If they were people, it would be called codependency, and it's not an easy thing to avoid. Number 9. Garfield is dying of starvation.
I didn't like Garfield either. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's always the art style or if it was just the show I didn't like. Couldn't figure it out, but art style is a big thing for me. Even like some anime, like I can't do it. I just can't. If it don't look right, I just am turned off. I really like art and stuff like that. So, like I paint a lot. Love art museums and all of that. So I don't know. It's just like if it's not aesthetically pleasing, like the story has to be like the best story in life for me to overlook it. To be completely honest.
Garfield comic strips was released in October 1989. That literally freaked everyone out. They were about Garfield waking up only to realize he was in an empty and abandoned house, and finally accepting that not only was he alone, but that he had been for many years already. So basically, all the joyful strips that we are all so fond of a grumpy, lasagna-loving cat were merely Garfield's dream, his way to escape from the nightmare of his real life.
I can't believe you tried to give Normal away.
People were very quick to come up with their own theories. Some thought the cat had died and gone to hell. Others thought that Garfield was a stray cat starving to death and hallucinating about a home and an owner that fed him every day. The second theory is one that seems to make more sense, given that Garfield mainly only dreamed of food and is absolutely obsessed with lasagna. Although Jim Davis, the creator of Garfield, has often repeated that the Halloween strip was just a way of freaking people out, there were still a lot of skeptics out there that think all the other strips were a dream inside the Halloween one. What do you think? Number 8. Scooby-Doo was set during an economic depression. Have you ever...
I mean, we're going through an economic depression, so... I just wanted to put that
Ever wondered why it is that every single one of the places the characters in Scooby-Doo visit is completely run down? There is an urban legend that says it's because the show was set during a terrible economic crisis that was so devastated it even affected celebrities, famous athletes, and important scientists. Why else would all these people with the skill sets of having high-paying jobs devote their lives to petty crime by putting on costumes of scary monsters? It would also explain the fact that every school they visit is empty without any sign of student life anywhere.
Old Horrible really said a frightful mouthful.
I wasn't a Scooby-Doo girl. I'm thinking about it. I wasn't a Scooby-Doo girl. I don't know why. Like, a lot of people love Scooby-Doo, and I would be like, I liked Ed, Edd n Eddy. I liked Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls, Kim Possible, SpongeBob. Like, the list goes on, really. Rugrats, Cow and Chicken even. I mean, hey. Dexter's Laboratory, but like something about Scooby-Doo just won't doing it for me.
But we're not gonna let that scare him.
And finally, given that the gang is constantly driving their van with no clear destination, there's a big possibility they're simply homeless nomads. The other famous theory about Scooby-Doo is that him and Shaggy are very high all the time. And if you think about it, it fits. That's why they sleep all the time and they're constantly hungry, called the Munchies. It also explains why they're very slow and forgetful, all signs of marijuana smoking. And finally, the darkest theory for last. Some people think that Shaggy's actually a drug addict, aka a junkie, and his drug-induced hallucinations make him believe that his recently deceased dog is still alive and can even talk. I bet you'll never see this show the same way ever again.
That sucks.
Number 7. The Brenda Theory. The Powerpuff Girls are one person.
They got, what's it? Fuck. I'm a freaking psychology major. And I don't know. My brain went dissociates. No. That the man in Split had. Is that what he's about to say?
According to this conspiracy theory, the Powerpuff Girls are not 3 different girls with superpowers, but rather 3 different personalities of one very normal girl called Brenda. It is believed that Brenda developed dissociative identity disorder, also known as...
Did y'all not hear me say dissociative? And I was like, no, that's not it. Sometimes you just have to trust your gut. That was an example of it right there.
As multiple personalities disorder after years of enduring savage bullying from her brother.
Why are they with the Teen Titans? Go. Teen Titans, go. I hated Teen Titans, go. Let's talk about this for a second. what was up with Cartoon Network? Well, I don't know if it was any other channels, but what was up with them making, like, remaking shows and just shrinking the characters into, like, miniature size? That shit pissed me off. What was that about? And made them dumb. Can somebody tell me? Because I still don't have the answer.
It's important to note that this disorder is very real, and it's only caused by a person suffering from an experience so incredibly traumatic, they literally invent another personality that is more equipped to deal with the pain. So Brenda creates 3 different girls with very different character traits that bravely fight the villains on a daily basis.
Where is it coming
Me,
from?
I'll kill him with kindness.
That would mean the entire show takes place inside of Brenda's imagination. Her bully of a brother becomes Mojo Jojo. And as you might remember, Mojo Jojo was created by Professor Utonium, meaning he's the Powerpuff Girls' big brother. So Buttercup represents Brenda's anger and desire for revenge, and on the other hand, Bubbles represents her sensitivity
No, this one
and
doesn't make sense
sweetness.
to me.
And finally, Blossom.
Like, it makes sense, like, hypothetically, but, like, this feels like a theory somebody just pulled out their ass, to be honest.
Is the perfect example of what kind of girl Brenda wishes to be. Calm, beautiful, and highly intelligent.
Where's the
Finally, we
evidence?
have the mayor, who represents Brenda's helplessness and desire to ask for extra. True. Number 6. The Rugrats are all in Angelica's imagination. Have you heard of the Rugrats never happened theory? It's a conspiracy that started on Tumblr, and it basically speculates that the babies in the TV show were all made up by Angelica to cope with her absentee parents.
Bye, kids.
Interact socially with Jenny.
Tumblr user Radio Retaliation explains it this way. Chucky died with his mother, which explains why his father is such a neurotic, nervous wreck. Tommy was a stillborn baby. That would explain why Stu, his father, is always in the basement making new toys for the son he never had the chance to meet and play with. And finally, the DeVilles had an abortion, and because Angelica had no way of knowing the gender of the baby, she opted for both. Twins. A little boy and a little girl. Oh, this one's giving me goosebumps. This theory completely changes the tone of a seemingly innocent and fun children's cartoon. Basically, Angelica was building an entire group of friends in her head. Friends that could have been around her, but death took them away. And in
Damn.
ad-lib thought, she's also able to take out her aggressions on them, and they can't abandon her. It's a little too dark for a toddler to watch, don't you think? Number 5. Ash from Pokemon is in a coma.
Hold on. Let me just get back to the last one, because that one was a lot. And then my little bedtime reminder just went off and confused me. But I don't know. Like, that one's dark. Like he said, gave him goosebumps. Like, it gives me like an uncomfortable feeling. Like, the fuck? I can just be delusional and act like I never watched this video and continue to watch these shows that I watch from time to time regularly. Cause what the fuck?
This theory revolves around the fact that in the first episode of Pokemon, Ash fell into a coma after being hit with Pikachu's supercharged thunder attack. It wasn't Pikachu's intention to hit Ash, of course. The idea was to hit a flock of Spearow, but somehow it backfired. So some people believe that everything that happens after this event is simply Ash dreaming from a hospital bed where he will be in a state of coma for years. One of the facts that supports
Damn.
this theory is that Ash never grows older and never changes his appearance.
Who, me? I thought it was awesome.
But most cartoon shows don't get older, do they? Until like Rugrats, like they didn't. See, now the last theory is all fake. It's fake because we saw Rugrats all grown up. Am I coping right now? I don't know. But usually they don't get older until like they make a new show. Like Riley and Huey. They never got older. Did anyone? Ed, and Eddie. No one ever got older. The fuck?
In the first season, he says at one point that he's 10 years old, and he remains that age all throughout the rest of the seasons. If a kid falls into a coma, it's logical that it will remain his age in his head until he wakes up
But
again.
maybe,
It would
I don't
also explain Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny being exactly identical everywhere he goes. The explanation of them all being identical sisters is highly improbable. What if they're figments of his imagination? Another strange thing that supports this theory is the fact that Ash never progresses past a certain point, which is very suspicious.
What you mean?
Number 4. Peter Pan is the angel of death.
I there was one thing that like so it was about Peter Pan, and it was basically saying that Peter Pan, maybe this is what it's about to say, but Peter Pan was evil. Jack Sparrow, what is going on? Captain Hook was like trying to save the children, and they got tricked. into going with Peter, and Peter like killed them, and so they're in like hell or just they're dead and just chilling, but Captain Hook was trying to save them the whole time. And when I heard that, I was like, ew, 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 ew. Like that just like made it all like different, and I was like, oh my god. I also started watching Once Upon a Time, which is a pretty good show, and it kind of changes your mindset on some things. So anyways,
Peter Pan is an all-time Disney classic. Aside from being a little bit racist, it's also hiding a secret meaning.
whoa, how's it racist?
There's a theory that stipulates that Peter Pan is actually an angel that is guiding children to heaven or Neverland.
I have a feeling a little trip.
Oh, I thought, who in the hell is this? This is not Peter Pan. I don't know who this man is, but this ain't Peter Pan. I thought he was evil. Okay, well, mine was
Trip
different.
to Neverland.
And that's why the kids never grow up, because they are all dead. And when you dig into the origins of the Peter Pan story, it all makes too much sense. Maybe even a little too much for comfort. It turns out Disney isn't the original creator of the story, but Scottish writer Sir James Matthew Barrie. And the original title of the book was Peter
So do
and
they like die and then he's taking them to heaven, or does he kill them?
Wendy. And Barry lost his little brother David in a terrible ice skating accident only 2 days before his 14th birthday. The two brothers were very close,
Oh my
and this
God,
loss
shit, look.
deeply affected both Barry and his mother, who took solace in the idea that their son would never grow old this way. Knowing this, it becomes evident that David could have been a strong source of inspiration for Peter Pan. But there's more. When we look into the name Peter Pan, we quickly realize that Pan was an ancient Greek god. Pan was a mischievous deity of the woodlands and is often associated with innocence and immortality. Because Barry's no longer around, we can't really ask him if this theory is true, but there's a very big chance that Peter Pan is, in fact, an angel of death.
Well, like I said, I heard one that was very similar to that, but it was that he was evil and he was taking them to hell. And Captain Hook was trying to save them.
Number 3. The Cars overthrew mankind.
Bro, what?
If you've seen the Pixar movie Cars, you know they're set on this planet, but
fine,
at a time in the
though.
future when there are no more human beings. So what happened to us? Why are we no longer around? Was it another meteorite like
They-
the one that wiped out the dinosaurs? Well, there's the theory that the Cars simply took over and overthrew us.
That did not happen.
Oh, yeah? Says you.
Bye-bye!
This theory stands as one little piece of the much larger and more complex Pixar theory that tries to tie together all of the Pixar movie is set on this planet. What probably happened is that we started creating smarter and smarter cars to the point that they became sentient. And when that happened, we became, well, dead weight. This theory's been backed up by Jay Ward, who's the creative director of the Cars universe. So I guess it's not a theory anymore, but a cold hard fact. The cars in the Cars franchise became smarter than us and simply took over this world. I bet you're
Like
gonna
some
look at your own car
Transformers.
differently the next time you go for a ride.
I'm not. It can't do anything to me yet.
Number 2. Ed, and Eddie are living in purgatory.
I heard something like this. Hey, are they living there? What did they do? They're kids.
The theory of Ed, and Eddie in purgatory started in the year 2012, and it speculates that, basically, they're all dead. Take a look at the color of their tongues, for example. They're all blue or green. Only dead people have tongues like that. And also their skin color, which is of a strange yellowish tone, exactly like dead people. There's also the fact that they're...
I'm sorry, I don't see dead people that much, so, or ever. So I don't know that they're yellow. You know, I thought they were like decomposing into like dust. Like, I'm a fully functioning person right here, and one day I'll just be dust. Isn't that really something?
Stay calm, Eddie. Think. I know. I'll hide it.
And the fact that they are all in purgatory would explain the irregularities within the time frame of the cartoon. Sometimes you can see typewriters, sometimes VHS machines, and in other episodes they are using computers. And that doesn't make any sense. Usually, in a normal setting, you wouldn't use electronics from that big of a range in history. So the theory says that this happens because each character's from a different time of American history, from the 20s to the year 2000. And that's why there are so many historical discrepancies. We can't know for sure if the creator of the show explicitly did this on purpose, but it really fits. Number 1. Wile E. Coyote is in hell.
I mean, I could have said that. I could have told y'all that, to be completely honest. He can't catch the damn Roadrunner, okay? That's all he wants to do, and he can't catch him. So even if it's like actually hell, or just like hypothetically hell, still hell. He's living in a hell of his own.
that debuted in 1949, and the show consists almost exclusively of the coyote trying to catch the Roadrunner and failing miserably time after time after time again. The Roadrunner always outwits the coyote at the last minute and gets away in a very mocking way. If you've seen this cartoon, you know that the coyote has his plans backfire in his face quite grandiosely thousands, if not millions of times. But he always seems to come back to this nightmarish world where the object of his desire is always at arm's reach, but he can never touch it. Sounds like torture, right? There's a theory that stipulates exactly that. The coyote would actually be stuck in his own personal hell for all eternity. It almost sounds like the Greek myth of Tantalus, a punishment from the gods, doomed to eternally be thirsty but never being able to drink water.
Ooh,
I don't know about you.
I'm thirsty right now, and I'm just saying, like, if I could never drink again and I couldn't even, like, end my suffering, I would just have to be thirsty for the rest of my time forever. And forever is really a long time if you didn't know. Like, it's, like, never ending. Like, wow. That would be terrible. It's just things we have to think about. When we look at videos like this, we get real deep. We have to think out of the box. We have to think very deeply. Okay? And I just, you know, a lot of things are just in my head right now.
But I think that eternal suffering as the main theme for a kid's show seems a little bit dark, don't you think?
All of these things are dark. These people are mentally fucked. They're fucked up, okay? There's a lot of people and creators that are fucked up in the head. Stephen King, just being honest, the things that you put in your books, fucked up, bro. Messed up. So I don't, for people to, listen, people to even think of like, oh, let me make a show where like all of the characters are sea creatures and a sea star and a sponge are going to be the best friends and they work at a, like, for you to even sit down and like create that in your brain, I'm already looking at you interestingly because wow, how did you do that? Like, you're cool, but like, what else you got going on? No sane person is making a show like that. Just being honest. I'm just being honest. Okay. A lot of the other, like, the underlying themes, when we really break it down, it just like, it seems like they're on drugs. Drugs or have mental health problems. It is what it is. You know, we're calling a spade a spade. So, I'm just saying, personally, I'm not shocked. Some of these did get a lot darker than I thought. Some of them are like, oh, okay, whatever. But I don't know. Regardless, they keep me, excuse me, thoroughly entertained, to be honest. I like them. Like I said, I can just, like, literally gaslight myself into forgetting that I watched this. So, it has to be something so traumatizing and so bad that, like, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'm not going to be able to watch it again ever in my life. But maybe the theories are behind Courage the Cowardly Dog are like that or something. Maybe some other shows, because I don't know. The Peter Pan one that I heard before this, like, made me like, okay, all right, well, I don't want to watch that ever again. But yeah, I'm going to keep continuing to, like, react to stuff like this. I think it's cool. Anyways, y'all, come subscribe, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. I'll see y'all in the next one.